Hi there. Thanks for tuning into our podcast feed. I'm Pastor Tim here at Grace of God, Long Island. What you're listening to right now is part of an occasional series you'll find in this feed, which I'm calling Deleted Scenes. Just like when a movie or a TV show is being made, it occasionally happens as I'm writing a sermon that it goes too long and something needs cutting. Generally, that's because I let myself just go on and the trim material isn't worth it. However, sometimes I find myself cutting something that I think would have some value in saying, but it just doesn't flow well into the rest of the sermon, or it simply ends up too long. When I have a piece that I think meets that standard, you'll find it in this feed on Tuesdays as a deleted scene. This week's deleted scene comes from Sunday's message on Luke 19:28-40, but we're also going to talk about Psalm 118. I'd recommend grabbing your Bible to read both of those sections. So in the reading from Luke, Jesus enters Jerusalem as a king on Palm Sunday. Now in a few days, that coming Friday, he's going to die on the cross. This week is the culmination of Jesus' work here on earth. Everything he has done in his life so far has built toward this moment, these days, that moment on the cross, when he will pay the price for our sin to bring about reconciliation between us and God. Now, as Jesus enters Jerusalem, we read that the crowd sings out to him some words from Psalm 118. This psalm was traditionally sung as part of the Passover celebrations. The accounts of the Last Supper, that meal that they had Thursday night, mentions that Jesus and the apostles sang songs together before going out to the garden. Undoubtedly, Psalm 118 was one of those songs. Psalm 118 is a song about a festival celebrating God's salvation of his people, so you understand why it's connected with the Passover. But if you read Psalm 118, you notice that it begins with one person talking about what God has done for that person. Verse 5, "When hard pressed, I cried to the Lord. He brought me into a spacious place." This one speaker continues describing God's salvation of this one person until verse 21. At verse 22, multiple speakers begin singing. "The stone the builders rejected has become the cornerstone. The Lord has done this, and it is marvelous in our eyes." Psalm 118 is a prophecy. Jesus is the one who is speaking in the singular portions. He is the one who was hard-pressed on the cross but brought into a spacious place in his resurrection. He is the one who, verse 17, will not die but live. And in Jesus, as his church, we speak those singular portions with him. We know that despite life pressing us hard, we will be brought into the spacious place of the new creation at the end of time. We know that we will not die forever, but will live forever in the resurrection which Jesus guarantees for us. And so we sing the portions also from 22 onward as the church, praising God as a community for his salvation given through Jesus. Jesus knew what this song prophesied. He referred to himself as the stone rejected, which has become the cornerstone from verse 22. He knew that this psalm prophesied that he would suffer rejection, that he would be hard-pressed, that he would suffer, that he would die. He knew what this song meant as he sang it with his disciples in the upper room the night before his death. He knew all of that, and he followed through with it all because he loves you. We see that Psalm 118 begins and ends by saying, "Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good, his love endures forever." We know that to be true by what Jesus did for us. That's our sermon deleted scene today. Music is What Words Can't Describe by Vlad Gluschenko at soundcloud.com/VGL9. Thanks again for listening. Please share our podcast feed with others and share with them the peace that you have in Jesus. I'm Pastor Tim Walsh at Grace of God in Dix Hills, 510 Deer Park, just north off LIE exit 51. Join us on Sundays at 9:30 a.m. God bless and keep you this week.